Alright, everybody, this is Dodgy Yeti, your friendly neighborhood cryptid. I started recording a little early because me and Chris got to talking about some stuff that was what I feel like pretty entertaining. Um, so it's a little bit of a sneak peek into some of our conversations that we normally have, and I thought it was good content. So it for some context, we were talking about a article that he had done, kind of power scaling but also not power scaling all the Hokage from Naruto. So that's kind of what we're talking about. And yeah, uh Q was having some difficulties with his internet due to a storm that we had, but everybody ends up being there, and I do believe it was a good show. So hang around, leave a like, and subscribe. See ya.
I was surprised I put Saucery in the location on the list that I put him,
Mm,
and Hedon. He's not as high on the list as I thought I would have included him.
well, I mean, it makes sense for Hedon if you're taking in like story impact. Like he outside of killing Asuma and like being the stepping stone for Shikamaru's get back, like I it didn't have a whole lot of great story impact. And like Sorcery kind of had more than Hedon, but not nearly as much. Sorcery power level wise would be pretty fucking. I think is
He
really good.
Saucery had more than I thought he would have. With obviously, uh, you got to count him involved with Granny Chio and then resurrecting. Uh,
Resurrecting Gara.
what was I going for? Yeah, he obviously he's I lost my train of thought.
But
he's he's pretty good. Stood toe with almost killed Sakura and Granny Chio.
I'm gonna say Sakura's not the big flex on that one. Granny Chio would be.
Yeah, she's not
Sakura's
super good,
fucking
but
trash.
she gets a lot of flack, man.
It's deserved flack.
Well, we will see what you think when I rank the Konoha 12. So
But well, I mean, they just didn't write her well, man.
I agree.
Like when it comes to female characters, I think Naruto kind of does it the worst. Is like,
He did base Sakura off of his wife, Masashi Kishimoto.
well, it kind of seems like they got divorced.
His it is on record that his wife wished that Naruto and Sakura would have got together over Hinata.
No.
I tried to write a while back that about Itachi, how many Akatsuki members he'd get through before he die.
Oh, like how many of them could he kill?
Yeah, like prime Itachi, like no disease, no nothing, no sickness. If he could beat the whole Akatsuki.
Mm. I would say he wouldn't have too big of an issue until he got
Nagato and
to.
Obito.
No, I think he would start having issues before that. But I think Kisame. Let me pull up the fucking full list again. But I think uh um Kisame and Dater would give him issues. Um
I think Kisame would. I don't know about I don't know if I agree with Daedra.
So, thank you, love. The reason why I think Datara would give him such issues is just just his explosions and shit, and like if he pulled out what he did on Itachi, I don't know, or what he pulled out on Sasuke. I don't know if Itachi makes it away as fast and as far as what Sasuke did, because Sasuke had the fucking hack of the snake to burrow underground and take him far away. That's the reason why I say I don't know. I don't know. I think he still smacks Datara. Don't get it twisted, but I think
The
that's
one
the.
thing we have to remember too is Itachi had access to Izanagi, which is the jutsu where you can essentially rewind.
Mm-hmm.
So if Daedra gets lucky, I just. But the thing about the Akatsuki is every pairing was done for specific reasons. Like Kisame definitely gives Itachi more issues than Daedra. That's why they were stuck together. And Daedra and Sasori or whatever, because it's supposed to be like slightly somewhat of a counterpart, like to keep the other person in check, like Itachi can keep Kisame in check and vice versa. Same thing with like Sasori and Daedra and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, not only that, they shore up each other's weaknesses in order to,
Exactly.
because, like, especially like Thicc Itachi is
Thicc
not the
Itachi is
dude that.
100% not beating the Akatsuki.
What's that?
I said Thicc Itachi is 100% not beating the Akatsuki.
Yeah.
That's why I definitely, when I was brainstorming the article, it was definitely, prime Itachi, not sick, no sickness.
Yeah. No, the.
Because I think Itachi beats Sasuke, but that is a
Oh, are we
completely
taking.
that's a completely different fight versus the Akatsuki because they're brothers and
What?
Itachi's a lot smarter than Sasuke.
It depends what Sasuke are we taking? Because if we're taking Prime of Shippuden is fucking a god. And sorry, but Itachi can't handle that.
He is Naruto and Sasuke are not gods.
They
They
are pretty
partially have
much.
they have they have partial access to Sage of Six Paths chakra.
And,
Partial. And without Sage of Six Paths chakra, Naruto and Sasuke both went toe to toe with Otsutsuki and Boruto, and they are gods.
mm-hmm.
Sasuke barely has any chakra for his Rinnegan and was able to go one on one with an Otsutsuki. So if we're talking about them fighting gods,
I mean, they fought a god in fucking Shippuden as well and beat him. But
yeah,
if
but it
we're
also
taking
took
like
Sakura
final,
and Kakashi.
huh?
I said it also took Sakura and Kakashi. One of the most famous images used from towards the end of the Shippuden series is, you know, all three of them, Sakura, Sasuke, and Naruto, all three hitting Kaguya at the same time.
Yeah, yeah, but I I don't know. It all depends on when you pull when you decide to use Sasuke. When you decide to choose Sasuke is really dependent on whether or not he wins against Itachi. Because either one, he's so fucking powerful at the end near the end of Shippuden that Itachi would have so big of an issue, or we get old man Sasuke that is not as dumb and is probably sitting not probably sitting pretty close to Itachi.
Sasuke after he loses, because obviously Sage's six pass takes the chakra back from Naruto and Sasuke after the Shippuden or whatever, and up until Sasuke loses to Naruto, he is blinded by the vengeance against the Hokages for what they made Itachi do and all that stuff. So it's a mixed bag. It can go either way, and I believe the fight's close, but I just think Itachi wins. I also wrote a long time ago about if Jiraiya had knowledge of pain, could he have beat pain? That was an interesting one. I believe Jiraiya could beat pain if he had knowledge of all the six path stuff. Because without any knowledge at all, he beat three paths of pain. So if he had prior knowledge of six paths, who the person is, stuff like
Can
that,
you really count
but
that
Jiraiya
as
had.
beating the Paths of Pain because they just got shoved into that mouth and came out perfectly fine. They got hit with a revivify.
I count it. I count it.
Okay.
They were definitely dead in that fight.
It,
However,
it
Jiraiya needed to die.
Jiraiya
Jiraiya,
didn't
he had to die.
story wise, yes, but still doesn't mean that I'm fucking happy about it because Jiraiya was one of the best in the show.
Fuck the story.
Do you have any topics for today?
Well, I was gonna bring up the deck stuff and everything like that. That was one of my things, and a couple of things that we talked about like on last podcast, but bringing them a little forward.
Works for me.
I'm not.
I'm yanking with the internet stuff at the moment, boys. I'm on my phone.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
your
know
internet was
why.
super fucked last night. I forgot
Yeah,
about
I
that.
don't know why it's doing what it is, but it is. So I might be in here supporter style for this one.
Well, I guess it's a good thing that I had already started recording.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I thought all the like. Don't worry, nobody heard what you
Naruto
got planned
conversation.
for articles, but I thought like the whole like anime and power scaling talk and everything was because me and you both have like
Yeah.
differing opinions on when it like how to rank things because like I always go when I rank stuff I always go for like power. Power is always
I'm not smart enough to do strict straight power scaling. However, before I did write the article, I did visit other lists to see how they put them together, and power scaling's too much out of my realm. Too much reading. I already had to go through, and I sourced a whole bunch of stuff in this article too, so people can
dude.
go.
If you want somebody to research power scaling for you, let me know. I used to love just doing nothing but watching and learning like power scaling.
Just wait till I rank the Dragon Ball series.
Oh
We
motherfucker!
definitely ain't gonna we definitely ain't gonna agree on that.
Honestly, this is gonna be a fucking hot take, but I could I could give a shit less about power scaling Dragon Ball Z because
Oh, I'm just talking about like the shows in general.
oh
Nobody agrees with what I think about the shows.
how how high do you rank Super?
Well, Super gets an asterisk, so that's why I can't actually rank them right now because I've not watched Super. I've watched Dragon Ball, Z, and part of Kai. Kai is the lowest. I would
Mm-hmm.
rank Super. I'd rank Super above Kai in third spot just for simple fact. I have not seen it all, so it gets the asterisk, and then Dragon Ball Z, and then Dragon Ball is number one.
So with Super, it's really gonna depend on what you like in like your animes. I like Super way more than I think Q does because I really love tournament arcs.
I like tournament arcs as well, so I feel tournament arcs and stories. So I feel like I would probably like it more than Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, I still like Dragon Ball original Dragon Ball the best out of all of them.
Yeah, he's a hipster.
Me
But
too.
but Z and Super are pretty good. I haven't watched a whole lot of Super either, but from what I've seen, I mean it's not bad. Yeah.
There we go. But yeah, no, not. I could kind of really care less about Dragon Ball, honestly. Dragon. I don't know about anybody else, but Dragon Ball just kind of got like, and there wasn't a whole lot of like. The reason why I like Super is because you get such an injection of like new people. Like you, instead of getting like one bad guy that you see for like the whole season, like you have a whole like squad of people that you're about to go up against, and like they're new and shit like that.
My big thing about Dragon Ball Z was always the fact of, and it's not just Dragon Ball Z in general. I think it's any show in general. Like you have like these people that are super important. So like you go back to Dragon Ball. We'll use this for an example. You have Yamcha, which is supposed to be a really good fighter. You have Tien Shinhan, supposed to be a really good fighter. And then you go to later in the series. I mean, granted, they move away from them as main characters, focus more on Goku and particularly the other people. But like Yamcha is nothing outside Dragon Ball. Tien still has like some cool powers and stuff. Like they power up people, but Tien won one of the martial arts tournaments
Yeah.
and
Tien.
didn't really get that respect in the further editions of the series. And Dragon Ball is just one of the things that I can remember off the top of my head where uh, important people from past iterations in the series don't get like the same power up and the same love later on in the series.
Well, I think Skaggs and I have talked about this before, where I think that they shoot themselves in the foot with the way that they decided to go with their main characters, and they so heavily outpower scaled the rest of the group, the other characters that they had around them, that it kind of, I mean, maybe everybody doesn't love Krillin. I love Krillin, but
Mm-hmm.
I think Krillin's
he
cool. Krillin won a fight by farting.
exactly,
That was
dude.
comedy. That was peak comedy.
And he's one of the prime guys where it's like everybody loved Krillin, and he still kind of got written out of the way because we let Goku and Vegeta, and I mean, Cell's not part of the group, but like Cell came, Goku and Vegeta and Gohan and everybody had to get that much stronger, and just it didn't make it. I mean, Piccolo just had to use a wish to even get his new form to even try to keep up with Goku and them. So they did it to themselves, I feel like, in DBZ, but I do agree with you. I wish we could keep more of
Yeah.
those cool characters that they made important.
There are
Like,
ways that you could power up people like that. Like two examples, like if you're gonna out power up everybody around them, like you go to Sword Art Online where Kirito and Asuna are obviously the two most powerful characters in the series. However, people like Klein, Agiel, everybody else, they're also not forgotten and they power up not nearly to the level that they do, but they power up along with them. And there's another anime that's called like uh, I'll find the exact name because I don't want to say it wrong because it almost sound weird. It's called Google. Okay. This anime is called Bofuri. I don't want to get hurt, so I'll max out my defense. And this anime is kind of video game. It's video game based, but like the main character obviously is scared to get hurt. Exact kind of what you picked from the title. So she puts all of her point into defense and gets the shield that kind of sucks in all these different like powers, abilities, resistances, all this stuff. But throughout the show, like the other people in the guild, which is called Maple Leaf Guild. Other people in the guild also get these new weapons, get these new powers and stuff like that. So if they did a better job like that in Dragon Ball, I think it could be a lot better. But like I said, I've not watched Super. I don't know a lot about it. I know some. I know about Beerus.
So you like tournament arcs and everything then. What's your top 3 tournament arcs?
I'm gonna say my favorite one, number one. We'll start with number 3. Number 3 is the tournament arc where it's probably not as well known, but do you remember from Dragon Ball? What is that bitch's name?
They don't have to all be Dragon Ball.
Oh, so we're.
Just in general.
I have to think about. I have to think about that, man. I can't stand that off the top of my head. I'll go Dragon Ball real quick just because I have 3. Master Roshi's sister. You remember that old ass lady that rode on the fucking crystal ball? What's her name? Like Baba
Isn't that
Yaga or something?
Bibbidi?
Yeah,
Bibbidi.
Bibbidi. Is it Bibbidi?
Bibbidi
She
bobbidi
makes
boo.
Bobbity and Boo, doesn't she?
I don't know, but Goku ends up fighting against his. I think he fights against his grandpa Gohan. I think that was his grandpa. But Goku, there's a little tournament thing right there where Goku has to fight multiple people, ends up fighting against Gohan. That's probably my 3rd, and then the number 1. I mean, number 2 is
BDD.
probably where. Okay, there we go. Number 2 is probably the one that Tien wins, where Krillin dies. Spoiler for 1,000-year-old anime. Krillin goes back to the thing, gets killed by Piccolo. And then the first one is probably the one that Goku loses to Jackie Chun. I think Jackie Chun's the winner of that one. That's the one that Krillin farts and that one dude loses.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I will think about it, and we'll reconvene whenever on the next podcast.
I was gonna say
because there's a lot of fights.
my
A lot of anime.
I'll throw out a wild one for number 3. Battle City in Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh, so we're not even going like fighting. We're not even going fighting. Okay.
It's tournament.
I was just thinking just prime fighting. Yeah, I've definitely got to go Battle City. That's probably number 1.
Really? You're going to go Battle City over like the tuning exam? Cuz like that's my number 1.
It's something I have to think about for a while. I was a big Yu-Gi-Oh fan back in the day.
Same.
I absolutely fucking loved Battle City. I did that with the neighborhood kids around on my street. We played, took the best cards out. I played, took the best cards out of their deck. I said what I said.
Yeah.
Never lost.
Never lost. Never even had a
They were
tie like a
kids.
shoe streak.
I had the dual disc and everything, man.
But it's hard to beat the fucking tuning exams for me. But like number 2, like I mean, there's a whole ass anime that's all that it is. Like the Fate Stay series, like Fate Stay Night and shit.
I've only watched one of those all the way through. It's actually my favorite one of that entire series too.
Yeah.
The first one, whatever it's called.
It might just be called Fate Stay.
Yeah.
The first one might be, but
I've watched parts of the other ones, but overall, if I ranked them, that was definitely the first one was my favorite.
yeah.
We don't get to see much of it, but one that I imagine was epic is Mewtwo when he starts making all the clones and like conning people to come to his island so he can beat the shit out of them. I bet you that tournament was sick.
Oh yeah.
There's animes I'm forgetting. Like I totally didn't even think about Pokemon. Like it could be any of the Pokemon League shout. Like it's something I would have to wonder.
That's a big question.
You just gave me an article. You just gave me an article.
There you go.
That's awesome.
Mark it right now. People that are watching this later, there will be an article ranking the. We'll go 10. We'll probably go top 10 favorite tournament arcs.
I know you haven't watched it, but you cannot put like JJK's Kyoto sister fucking little tournament arc in it.
I've not watched that.
I know, but it's great and I love it. Although it doesn't actually end up
You got
being like
you
a
got to think
tournament.
like there's like Street Fighter is an anime.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure there's a tournament arc in Street Fighter. This article is going to take a while. I have some things to watch.
If you liked Fate Stay, there's a show called Ragnarok that you should check out. It is just all it is a tournament arc. That's all that it is, and it's fucking
I think I'm
great.
fine.
Hey, there you are. It is all the so it's like humans versus gods. Gods want to end the human race, and so
Yeah.
one of the Valkyries comes in and is like, I'm fucking enacting this like clause or whatever. And what she gets to do is she gets to bring back all these like legendary people from history, and I think it's 13 fights. The humans go up against the gods, and one of the Valkyries will like be partnered with whoever that human is, and they give them kind of like an equalizer. And it's pretty cool. I really like it. Like I want some like Q wants glasses like Doflamingo. I want some glasses like they give Buddha in this
Oh
show.
yeah,
That that is prime fucking
yeah. That
style.
show's pretty good.
I could go include real life tournament arcs. What about the time Q almost won that tournament with Slivers?
You could include that.
I almost quit Magic until the Players Championship 2015. If not for that tournament, I wouldn't play Magic.
Yeah.
We'll keep it anime related though.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, dude, you can consider anything that's a tournament, fucking Battle City, all the cups that
Tekken.
are Tekken, all the stuff that like Ash went and did. Like if you want to include like his last tournament where he actually won, I haven't actually watched it, so I don't know if
That
it's
haven't
is
either.
an Alola. Is pretty good.
but
All right. Well, let's get on track because we have
15 minutes
57
left.
minutes.
okay. Well, you guys have been with us this whole time, so I'm gonna do the introduction, and it's the Thick Boy Hours, me, Dodgy Yeti, and Q and Chris Jones. So I wanted to bring up. We were talking in the group text and everything. Have you looked at any of the Final Fantasy decks yet, Q, and seen if there was any one of them that you liked? Because they actually have spoiled the complete deck list for them now.
I haven't, and I'll look him up now.
I actually am kind of excited for the Limit Break one. I think I might go ahead and get that one just anyways, but
I'll tell you guys one that I ended up eliminating out of my large pool
sir.
of commanders. No, not Zur. I was gonna do Volrath. Stick close to Slivers, and I just decided I was gonna do the old one, but he's mono black and he doesn't really do. I mean, he does some cool stuff, but I gotta win.
I have my buddy commander narrowed down probably to 2. I'm pretty positive. I'm not going to tell you the second one because I'm leaning towards that one. However, I feel fine spoiling one of them that I'm trying to build, and if I like it, I'll go with that one. But I'm leaning towards the second one that I'm not going to say, Jaleva. It's the Grixis one that whenever I cast it from the command zone, I exile the top cards of our library equal to whatever the mana cost is or something like that, and I can cast like one of them or something. So I'm thinking of trying to do like some fucking crazy, weird, stormy thing. But
Hell yeah.
I've never played Jaleva. There's been a lot of people around me that have built Jaleva. The second one, I know you guys know what it is, and I will tell you that Jordan has had a version of this deck. I will not tell you what it is. I have not played it.
There's only 3 that I can think of. Well,
Jordan has 13 commander decks.
Oh God, he doesn't play a whole lot. Or he didn't.
Not anymore. He kept buying people's decks and buying people's decks. Jordan has like 13 commander decks. One of them is squirrels. It is not squirrels.
I was gonna say he had a Chatterfang, not Toski deck. Oh, I can't remember the Orzhov one. He had that one, and obviously he had Urza.
He had an Atraxa one. It's not Atraxa. That's top 100.
Okay.
Yeah.
Top 100 this week, last week, 6 months past. Atraxa is always in top 100. So I will say, we can't all do Final Fantasy precons because one of them is already in the top 100.
Well, no,
it's not even out yet.
That's what I was just gonna do. Is like, does everybody want to get a hold of a Final Fantasy deck and everything like that? Because honestly, I am ready to declare my commander already for the budget one.
Well, I already told you I got the Blitzball coming because Final Fantasy X's the GOAT.
Okay.
Do you like any of the Final Fantasy ones?
I mean,
if not, it's no harm.
I was gonna say if you guys are really want to do Final Fantasy, I'll get one and we can do that. But I don't really have any interest in buying any of those decks, other than for the purpose of if that's what we were gonna do for the challenge.
No. Is it? I know I'm putting everybody on the spot. Does everybody want to go ahead and declare their commander?
I don't know if we should.
Really? I feel like we should.
You've had 2 weeks to think
camp about it.
I mean, I know what I'm building, but I'm also of the camp that I don't want you bozos to know what I'm building so you can build up your decks against me. That's where I'm at.
My deck. Well, the one I'm leaning towards, I already have a picture of the deck list.
Well, so do I.
$92. $92 and like 30.
I already have my deck list done, so I can't change it and build against you.
Okay, let me pull my deck list up.
Hey, homie said, I don't want to declare
screenshots.
$99. You can't see it. $99.20.
All right, so we'll go start at the top left. What's yours, Chris?
I am playing Narset.
Wait, which one?
Damn!
Oh no! God damn it! You're right. He did have that, didn't he?
Damn!
I fucking almost chose that. Okay. Q? Mr. Short Round himself?
Indoraptor, the perfect hybrid.
Yeah?
I actually don't know that one.
Legendary creature, dinosaur mutant, has Bloodthirst X. This creature enters the battlefield with X 1/1 counters on it, where X is the damage dealt to your opponents this turn. It has Menace. It has Enrage. Whenever Indoraptor the Perfect Hybrid is dealt damage, choose an opponent at random. Indoraptor deals damage equal to its power to that player unless they sacrifice a non-token creature.
I won't lie. You guys make me want to change mine because your guys' is much cooler.
What'd you pick?
Well, the Jaleva one would have been really fun, but you put me on the spot to choose, so it's going to be Narset.
Volrath.
You did pick Volrath? I was wondering why you were asking me about him the other day, and that was the same day I was like, I think I'm going to do Volrath. And then you asked me, and I'm like, this man has spies on my computer.
Nope, I have the
I will
Volrath,
say,
and I made it to where I snuck in the Cabal coffers, and it was under 99. You're all blurry, my boy.
yeah, you're not gonna be able to see the white screen. It has one game changer in the deck. It's a bracket 3. That's what you're shooting for.
I'm gonna say I have no game changers because Cabal coffers is not a game changers.
I have no
I'm
idea.
gonna be honest, I don't even know
I'm
what
not
the
paying
game
attention.
changer is. I don't even know what the game changer is off the top of my head either.
Oh, did you just snag somebody else's list?
Yes.
Who, me? Oh.
No, Chris.
And our budget was $100 or $200.
100.
100.
Not including Commander.
Not including
Yeah,
Commander.
the first sliver. I had to message Skag because the first sliver moved into the top 100.
Yeah, it did. And I wasn't going to do Slivers anyway. But I was going to do Volrath and I was going to be cheeky and do the wizard that they sent, the wizard girl that was the secondary commander in the Sliver Precon.
Oh,
Yeah.
Where she turns all creatures into slivers and lets them talk to the slivers. I was going to be cheeky and do that, but I decided it's time to build another commander deck that I can have fun and play with that's not Ravika and not slivers and not werewolves.
see,
I always wanted to play Narset, but everybody else, Jordan had one. I had another friend that had one, so I never built it. And Jaleva was fun. It's fun to Storm. I like Storm. However, I don't really play a lot of Modern Storm because I don't sleep a lot on Friday, so my brain doesn't work enough for me to math to play Slivers or Death Shadow or Amulet Titan. And then I thought about Storm because shout out to Dominique. He, Riley, and Blake went to I forget where they went. Like Comic Con was in Indy or something like that, and they got me a Storm proxy of the cool looking commander for the X-Men Storm, whatever.
Uh-huh.
She's really cool, and I wanted to build her. And then they also got me a Stomping Ground, which is a Pallet Town proxy, which is really fucking cool. But Merkel, I think it's Saltai. Merkel seemed really cool too, but Narset and Skags put me on the spot.
Hell yeah.
see Narset.
I'm sending you the deck list now.
Narset and what's his Narset, Extus, and Zur were the 4 that I was, along with Volrath with 4. I was like, I don't know. See if it.
So
Hey, my price is down $97.
I'll have to find a link to the list, but I'll post the picture in the group chat.
I have 0 game changers according to MTG Goldfish.
0 game change. I do as well. Estimated bracket 1 or above.
Yeah, that's what
For
mine
mine.
says too.
So what we're realizing is Chris is cheating.
Yes, he has a game changer, which
Definitely
means
not. I did it. I did exactly what you asked me to do.
I think the game changer is just Narset, dude. I think that's just having that
I
as
don't
your
know. I'll have to
commander.
look at the full list when I could find it.
All right. Well,
I
what's
even-
what's the day?
I even took a screenshot just to make sure that like when I made this, it was sitting at like $98, but it's down to 97. So that's cool.
Mine was 99.20, so I'm sure it's fluctuated since.
Yeah.
Game changer.
So
Well, we're on the topic of Magic. We might as well just talk about the Final Fantasy, right?
yeah. I love so many cards that are coming in because a lot of them are equipment based or working equipment decks. So
Boo.
hey, eat shit, Sliver Boy.
Boo.
You got a badass commander set with your stuff. Give me equipment.
We need less equipment and more creatures that are sliver based.
No, I need more swords.
So, have you guys actually looked? Have you guys actually looked at the spoilers though?
Yes, sir. I have. I was
This
looking at them last
set
night.
is probably the most art flavorful of any Universe Beyond. Like they held, like obviously there's 16 Final Fantasy games and there's only so many cards, so they held pretty true to like moments. Like I'll bring up, look at the green one. A lot of people mention this one. Where is? Okay, here we go. Like, if you played Final Fantasy X, you know, where Cloud's trying to teach Yuna to whistle, they have Yuna's whistle. They have the, towards the end of the game, you know, for people that, I'm not going to say what happens, but towards the end of the game, that moment, Yuna makes the decision. They have a card that's kind of like Natural Order and Yuna's decision. They have a card based on the sphere grid, which is really cool.
That's what
They have
the set is beautiful when it comes to art. I love it.
Is
Yeah,
every
they have
card different? Like, even if they're cards that are previous Magic cards, are they all the arts changed? Because I've went through 2 of the decks now, just kind of looking on Wizards, and it looks like all of them have like brand new art.
yes. If it's a repeat, card from past, it's all something to do with Final Fantasy.
That's awesome.
I was gonna
There's like
say,
2 or 3 different Soul Ring arts. That's crazy.
They just have like all the Final Fantasy X stuff is absolutely amazing. The different moments. There's one that has Cloud and in like a picture of his dad. Sin's in here. Orin. The hug that Cloud and Yuna share towards the end of the game. It's on Farewell. They have 15 different Sid arts. Because, you know, Sid's in every Final Fantasy game, I think, except for the first one. Orange, flavorful. The Yuna Grand Sum, probably one of my favorite cards, as it's easy to go infinite. Yuna Grand Summoner is a blue, a white, a green, a colorless for a 1/5 human cleric. Has the ability of Grand Summon. She taps to add 1 mana of any color. And it's key to note that there's a period here. That's the end of that ability, that period. And then when you next cast a creature spell this turn, that creature enters with 2 additional +1/+1 counters. So, if you have Freed from the Real or Penman's Aura or anything that, you know, Yuna tap her for a blue, pay the blue, untap her, just keep tapping her over and over and over, that second ability that's after that period is going to trigger for however many times you tapped her for mana.
Mm.
That's
Yeah.
what
And like they have in this same deck, the Final Fantasy X, the Counter Blitz deck, they have Hardened Scale. So turn 1, you go. I want to find out what this. I want to say this card right. Okay, so they have turn 1, you go Hardened Scales. That's the one that when you put a counter, you get to put an additional one of those +1/+1 counters, right? Turn 2, you play Walking Ballista. For 1 counter, the Hardened Scales gives you an extra. So you have 2 counters. Turn 3, they have a card. This is all in the Final Fantasy X deck. Then turn 3, you play a card called Gata and Luzu. 1 white, 2 cuss for a 1/1 flash human soldier. When Gata and Luzu enters, choose target creature you control. If damage would be dealt to that creature this turn, prevent that damage and put that many +1/+1 counters on it. So the Walking Ballista you played on turn 2 that has 2 +1/+1s because of the hardened scales. You remove 1 counter to deal 1 damage to the Walking Ballista that will get prevented by God and Luzu putting a +1/+1 counter on it, which hardened scales put an extra +1/+1 counter on it. So you just rinse and repeat that over and over, make a big fucking Walking Ballista.
I
did not discover that, but
I watched somebody go over like all the commander decks and everything, and like whoever I was watching, I can't remember. I think it might have been the Trinket Mage. He was going over them all, and at least to him, evidently the one that the one that you got is like the best of all of them that you could have got.
And it was the second cheapest. It was the second cheapest one too. I paid I think it was like $89.60 or something like that. I also bought a box, of course. I have a feeling that these prices are going to skyrocket. Is there any particular cards that you guys like from this set? Even the iconic equipments like the Buster Sword in here, I'm pretty sure Sephiroth is Masamune's swords in here. They have Vivi from Final Fantasy IX. I know Jordan's going to love that. This Vivi, I don't know what yet. I'm going to read this card to you while you guys look at the other cards. But this Vivi is a red, a blue, and a colorless. 0/3 legendary creature wizard. The ability is pay 0. You don't have to tap it or anything. Pay 0. Add X mana in any combination of blue and or red, where X is Vivi. It has a second name. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's like Ornitier or whatever, but add blue and or red, where X is Vivi's power. Activate only once and during your turn and only once each turn. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you put a +1/+1 counter on Vivi, and it deals 1 damage to each opponent. Now I don't know what. I see a lot of people are using Quicksilver Elemental, I think is what it is, to do something with this. Don't know what they plan on doing, but I feel this card's going to be really good. There's been a lot of people talking about this card called Absolute Virtue. Is colorless, a white and blue. Legendary creature, Avatar Warrior. I don't know which Final Fantasy game this is from, but this spell can't be countered. It's 8/8 flying. You have protection from each opponent's. I think a lot of new people that are into Magic are not realizing how easy that just dies to like a Doomblade or Go for the Throat or something of that sort. But cards that have been talked about, and there's a whole bunch of good ones. They have, I forget which Final Fantasy it is, but something like they suplex a train or something like that. Like that's in the art. I know Jordan probably knows it because he's older than us. He's played most of the Final Fantasies, but they stayed. What's the word I'm looking for? They stayed true to the moments, and they didn't stray too far from representing those on the cards. And like obviously, there's so many moments from all the video games. There's 16 games, 17 if you include tactics, and like the arts of some of the stuff. Like not everything. I don't think everything's spoiled yet, but like some of the stuff that they brought based off like the smallest bit of pixel from like Final Fantasy 2 or something on Super Nintendo whenever that game came out is absolutely amazing. So what stands out to you guys?
So Vivi, of course, I figured that was gonna be something that shit. That's something that like I would play because I would try and turn Vivi into a Voltron style deck. But he absolutely loves little weird wizards, so I definitely feel like that is up his alley. That's immediately what I thought whenever I seen
Is
him.
he is that the red blue?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I do
Yeah.
love him.
S- Squall Seed Mercenary. I fucking love that.
Too bad Ryan Tracy don't play anymore. They got another pseudo Stoneforge Mist that get those equipments that
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys call him? What's his nickname? Slick.
Yeah.
Slick.
Oh,
Yeah.
trust me, I'll be
Too bad
playing.
Slick don't play that new Cloud.
I'll be playing Cloud for him.
And then like Tifa. I'm not a big landfall guy real quick, but Tifa has one of the Tifas, there's obviously multiple, but one of the Tifas, land comes into play, you double her power. So they're talking like turn 3, you can win with it in standard, obviously minus interaction or killing it. It doesn't have protection or anything like that. But like I'm just thinking of some crazy ass shit to where like obviously I know there's no like you can't use like Simian Spirit Guide or Elvish Spirit Guide in modern or whatever, but just think about like use Legacy for an example because I know what cards are legal. Legacy, fucking, you go like couple Elvish Spirit Guides or something. Play Tifa, play fetch land, sack the fetch land, get another land, doubles her power. Like you could use some pump spell so she's already strong. You could Tainted Striker. Imagine scape shifting with Tifa in play. Getting the landfall trigger from all the scape shift lands. Pleasant Kenobi was the he turned me on to that on Twitter or whatever with scape shift. I didn't even thought about scape shift. I'm pretty sure scape shift might be standard legal. I could be wrong.
That see, and I love equipments and the Cloud precon comes with so many like really nice.
Yeah, because it's based off attacking. The Cloud gets the double his equipment triggers and his own triggers. What do you guys think about the adventure lands? The
Actually,
spells
that's not
for the venture part.
Oh, sorry, but that is a different
I
Cloud.
was gonna say,
It's not
go
the
ahead.
precon. He doesn't do that. Although I'll probably throw him in
The
there.
Stoneforge Mystic Cloud's the one that doubles
Yeah,
the attack triggers.
yeah, that one's gnarly. But everything that's in this precon is great. But to answer your question about those lands, I love them. Give me more utility lands.
The one that sticks out to me quite a bit, because I'm obviously the most familiar with Final Fantasy X. Granted, I've played 7, I've played 10. I didn't play 10-2, which I really want to play now after all this Final Fantasy talk. But like the Xanarkin 1, Ancient Metropolis one sticks out just for a simple fact is like when you get into Final Fantasy X, you just start the opening like Cloud's going to the big blitzball tournament in the big ass dome of water. And it's like all these flashing lights and stuff like that. And you see Orin in the background or whatever. But like on the art, like half of the art of the Xanarkin land is the flashing lights, the beginning of the game, the blitzball. And the other half is what Xanarkin really is. Spoiler alert for anybody that's not played this game that came out many years ago. But the second part is what Xanarkin actually looks like. And they just did like I can't stress enough how good of a job they did. Like I really like the saga creatures that they used for summons. Really fucking good. There's one actually all of them stick out, and I get a lot of them because Yuna's a summoner, so she's part of the deck's about moving counters around. But there's one that like Bahamut's really good. The first and second ability destroys non-land permanent. Third one draws 2 cards. The fourth one decreases damage equal to the total mana value of other permanents you control each opponent. That's fucking massive. And like it's a 9/9 flyer, so you're gonna get at least 2 attacks with this. There's also another one that I haven't found it yet, but like the first, second, and third chapters of the saga creature makes 3 2/2 tokens. I think it might be 4 abilities. It might be 4 that make tokens, but they literally make 3 tokens. So this thing dies, and you literally bring it back and make all these fucking tokens. And the deck's based off moving counters. So like you could move counters off that, put it in the deck, and just keep making tokens over and over. It's nuts.
Yeah.
Really like the Salt creatures.
It's a set where, like, obviously I feel like some people are gonna have the complaint, and I kind of understand if they do, that we're getting so many like commanders injected. Like, I'm looking at a portion of it right now, and I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 new commanders already. And that's just in like one of the precon decks. But I'm of the mind as well that like I don't think that's a problem that I don't think it's as big of a problem as what some people make it out to be. I think that the more commanders you have, the better, because there's so many magic cards that whenever I look at, like, that aren't legendary, that I would love to be legendary. Like, one that I've always wanted to actually be legendary was Lord of the Void. I love Lord of the Void. That is one of like my favorite.
Black creature?
Yep. He's a 7-drop demon whenever he attacks or deals damage. I can't remember which one it is. The opponent exiles like the top 7 of their library, and you may play one of those cards for free. And that
seems pretty cool.
That I've always just wished that he was legendary, or my Rakdos Cackler. I mean,
a lot of people got to realize too is like, I know a lot of people don't like Universes Beyond, and like, there's a lot that I don't like. A lot of like I've not bought any Secret Layers, but there's a lot of like iconic. You gotta think this set's based off 16 games. Then like all these characters, like Orin, Lulu, Titus, Yuna, Cloud, Kimari Ronzo, Sephiroth, Tifa, Barrett, Vincent, Squall. All these these are all like legendary iconic characters. Like there's and like they have to, if they're gonna do right by the set, like you can't not have the important people in the game probably not be legendary.
mm-hmm.
It just
Yeah.
wouldn't make sense for Yuffie, not Yuffie, like Riku from Final Fantasy X. Like she's a secondary character, but it would make sense for her not to be legendary because she plays an important role. Same thing with Vincent. Like I guarantee there's a lot of people out there when they played Final Fantasy VII, they didn't recruit Yuffie, they didn't recruit Vincent, but also iconic characters that deserve legendary treatment. And like there's some Universe Beyond stuff where we don't get nearly as many legendary stuff, like Avatar: The Last Airbender. I don't know if that's a Secret Lair going to be a set. Well, whatever. Like it's not going to have nearly as many legendary stuff like this. And we talked about last podcast. Q was a big proponent about this, about not printing. I forget exactly how I worded it, but we got on the point about how core sets used to be what would balance out the super powerful cards from the standard sets. Core sets would be where you get like the random legendary dragon, like Vivictus or Niv-Mizzet or whatever legendary creatures would be a lot, and they would do that in the core set, and that's where a lot of them would come from. Granted, there'd be some in the other sets too, but like a Universe Beyond set like Final Fantasy based off 16 games, it's going to be hard to run with like, I don't know, 8 legendary creatures, so to speak. And most Commander products have 2, 3 legendary creatures, anyways, even if it's not based on Final Fantasy. Like, I'm pretty sure for many years, like the first few Commander decks had like 3 legendary creatures.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
I think it's fine. I'll be honest, I'm not a Secret Lair guy. I'm not a Universe Beyond guy, but when they bring stuff like Lord of the Rings or one of my favorite series in Final Fantasy, there's a breaking point for everybody. I know Jordan's not a big Secret Lair or he's a big Final Fantasy guy, specifically 9. But I know Universe Beyond stuff, like when it ventures out of the Magic world, like there's plenty of Magic lore and stuff. I said this on a multiple social media posts where um, I'm paraphrasing. I don't remember exactly, but something like the set's only been up for pre-orders. It doesn't come out till like June 13th. This is already the best selling Magic set of all time. All time. Alpha, beta, all the best sets you can think of. This is the best selling set of all time. And it's for multiple reasons, attracting the collectors, attracting the people that play Magic, attracting the Final Fantasy fans. But like there's a lot of undiscovered or lore within the Magic world that's not been visited yet. And I prefer to stay within the Magic universe. But Hasbro's about making money. Wizards of the Coast is about making them money, even if they don't always agree with the ways that Hasbro likes to operate. And everybody's got a breaking point.
Well,
Is it the Fortnite Secret Lair for somebody? Is it the SpongeBob Secret Lair for somebody? Is it The Walking Dead? Is it the Lord of the Rings? Is it the Fallout? Well, my first Universe Beyond was Lord of the Rings. Got a box. Final Fantasy is a big breaking point for me. And if I wasn't going to California, I'd have probably bought all 4 Commander decks and multiple boxes. Everybody's got a breaking point at some point. And I'll be honest, I'm an Avatar Last Airbender guy. So if it's just a Secret Lair, which I don't know if it is or not, but I will probably buy it. However, a lot of Spider-Man drama with the way contract works, so
Uh-oh.
there will be no digital Spider-Man versions of the spot. It's gonna sound weird. No digital versions of the cards in the Spider-Man set with Spider-Man art, names, nothing. Like the paper Magic, you'll have Spider-Man, you'll have Venom, you'll have Doc Ock, Green Goblin, Vulture, probably Gwen Stacy, whoever, whatever Spider-Man person you want, probably be there. Digital Magic, they're going to alter all the names and all the arts to something else. So we 3 could go to a standard Magic tournament, and we could be, Spider-Manning with the Buster Sword, attacking, and they're blocking with Sephiroth, pumping it with the Spider Web Blaster, whatever. But when you go to digital on Magic Arena, no Spider-Man, no Web Blaster, no nothing. However, Final Fantasy stuff is already on Arena being advertised, so I think it's interesting, these secret layers and stuff like that. What do you think about the secret layers and the Universe Beyond stuff, Q? Because I don't think you and Skags collectively have really bought over time a whole bunch of it specifically. You guys are usually more focused on like particular interests, so to speak.
Singles and like if I have a cool deck idea, I'll end up buying, the deck, but even then that's still singles. As far as the Universes Beyond stuff and secret layers, I have been very much against secret layers from the very, very beginning, because by them settling and saying, you know what, we're going to do something like that, was the beginning of the end of what we're kind of beginning to experience in Magic now, which is let's print powerful cards no matter what it does to the overall life of Magic. Let's make our player base angry with us every time we release a new set because we have to ban cards that we might have just printed even in the last set, or we're banning cards before the set even comes out because play testing. It's not to say play testing wasn't done, but it wasn't a big enough deal to us to change those cards and make them work with the. I get there's a lot of cards in Magic, and it's hard to catch every single card that could potentially be game breaking for Magic as you're creating them. But they do pay people to do that. There are playtesters that are paid. Specifically, that's their job is to try to catch things like that and mitigate it the best that they can. But I just saw the secret layers and things like that as a big cash grab and the beginning of the end of we really care about our players and we love Magic the Gathering, turning more towards we really like to make a lot of money and we know that you guys will buy pretty much anything. I mean, the first couple secret layers, everybody was buying everything because it was the new thing, and there was a point in time where you could invest in Magic. Even if you went in and bought a pack, there's a potentiality that you could pull a card, and pretty high potential that you could pull even a rare that would score you enough money that you could trade it in and maybe get 2 packs out of it, let alone mythics that were in most cases pretty worth it to pull. You're getting a planeswalker or something like that, and as soon as we shifted towards here's all this extra stuff, don't you want all the different artworks of these cards that you've always liked? Wouldn't you like it if there was a different character on the front of this card? This card that already exists does the same thing that another card you could buy does, but it has SpongeBob on it. Just kind of started sending us down where what I feel like was a downward slope of it's more about money than it is about having fun playing Magic.
Let me ask you a
Um,
question real quick. They have you mentioned the getting like that rare or that mythic that you
Yeah.
could trade in back in for 2 packs or whatever. And like I've been playing for many years, I know exactly how it is. I traded back in the day a Mycosynth Golem, some other cards I didn't really need at the time because the shop owner I played back in the day, his name's Joey, and the Gamers Connection back in the day ended up somehow got a an open box of third edition revised, the last set the dual lands were printed in. Like I didn't really understand like what dual lands were at the time. Like I had like a very small understanding. Like I traded these cards in, got 2 packs of third edition revised.
Yeah.
Opened the first pack, horse shit. Opened the second pack, pulled a soul ring. It was like $30 at the time. Oh yes, a soul ring. And then I got this Tundra, this blue white dual land. Immediately sold it for $80. I actually rode with. It's crazy. I rode with the guy to Walmart that somebody else took us because he and I didn't drive at the time. We didn't have our license. Rode with this guy to Walmart. The guy that I sold it to got money at the ATM, gave it to me. That guy traded that Tundra. This is how much it changed hands. He traded the Tundra for in-game stuff on this game called Repels. The guy that he had traded that Tundra to gave it back to me, and I had that Tundra for 2.5 years before that guy needed it back so he could trade it for a Bayou. So I know all about that prime pulling that one ideal card. But what I was going to ask you is, you mentioned that one card that you could trade in for something. A lot of these universes beyond, I'm talking about strictly like actual, like the full sets of stuff, like
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings, Final Fantasy, stuff like that. Lord of the Rings, we've seen the One Ring, the one of one. Um, cool idea. There's only one existence. Post Malone bought it, whatever it was, 2.3 million or whatever. Then they have like other cards, like they had so many Arts of Soul rings for like all the different like you get the point. But like Final Fantasy has, I'm not gonna remember the number. They have multiple chocobo arts.
Mm-hmm.
One is black. It is only in Japanese. However,
Mm-hmm.
it's not like a one of one situation. But you get these those are like the chase cards. I'd say probably these chocobos, and then they have the chase card, which I believe I don't know if it's 77 or 777. I think it's 77 copies.
It's
77. The golden chocobo. You mentioned possibly pulling that one rare card to trade back in, and that was stuff I really liked with like Battle for Zendikar, Oath of the Gatewatch, Kaladesh, the masterpieces, the invocations, the expeditions, the lottery cards. I fucking love the lottery cards. I've pulled 2 in my lifetime. I pulled Smoldering Marsh, the red black Tango Land, and I pulled a Cataclysmic Gearhawk masterpiece, which I wrote about in an article. You can check lordsofgaming.net, my 5 favorite Magic Gathering pulls. What do you think about these specific? Because they're technically chase cards, however, it's not like the chances of getting them are slimmer, but there are chase cards. I kind of want your opinion on what you think about these specific types of cards.
I have a big opinion, but I'm gonna let Skaggs go in on his discussion about how he feels about all of the.
So, my opinion is like Secret Layers. When they started out, I thought they were really cool, but I knew that it was going to turn into something not so cool because, like, I didn't necessarily enjoy The Walking Dead making new creatures that weren't like already magic creatures or whatever. But it is what it is. They said they were going to make them, so they did their thing. But I think the idea of Secret Layers is super cool. I think we can blame like Wizards or Hasbro all we want, but it's also kind of on us. I mean, it's kind of getting to. I mean, it's not nearly as bad, but it's kind of reminded me of like Pokemon cards to a certain extent, where like everybody's just fiending after like 5 cards from like a set or something like that. In which, hey, that gives you chase things, and I think there's good and bad to that. It's bad because it drives up the prices of shit, and people like the scalp. Like that's the thing that we've gotten from like Pokemon is like the scalping and like making everything so fucking expensive, and I hate that. But at the same time, those things are so expensive, mainly because like there's, like you said, 5 cards in there that could be like over $100 or something like that. You got crazy chase cards. But if you do, the one thing that I do like is that there are so many versions of a card, because that means that if you don't want to spend a bunch of money, you can still go cheap and get a lot of these cards. Just get the base version of it. Like me, I love the artwork. I love artwork so much, so I will always go for a borderless card. Always. And as long as it's not too insanely more expensive, I'll get the shiny one too. Shiny borderless. But it's kind of getting to a point to where like Hasbro is kind of acting like how the Pokemon company is they are pseudo extorting us. They're pseudo extorting the scalpers and turning around and saying we don't look at secondary market. So that takes all the blame or anything off of them. And then the scalpers are turning around and exploiting all the other people. And I feel like that just, I mean, it's bad. It's bad all around. It's bad for the health of the game. It's bad for the health of like LGSs and shit like that. I mean, I don't know. I don't like that aspect of it. But the other thing is that whenever they do like a secret layer that I really like, I will get it. I got the dragon, the baby and adult version dragons of the old Dragon Lords. And I'll probably end up getting the Final Fantasy weapons one because artifacts are my shit. Like, equipment is my shit. I love equipment. But
That's part of my heavy criticism is exactly what you said with the Pokemon thing. They and it's going to be hard to tell who really perfected it. I want to dude, where'd you get that?
TikTok shop.
It's going to be it's going to be hard to really say who did it and where it happened and how it happened, but I'm going to blame it on Pokemon.
Oh yeah, I
for
think
the
it fully
fact that
lands there.
they made card collecting more of a hype thing than it ever was. Like, Pokemon is called the trading card game. Everything that's a TCG, trading card game. So it is a game that you play with trading cards. And what everything has turned into is now just trading cards. I have binders full of cards that I expect other people to hold in as high of a regard as I do. And because they do, they're worth a lot of money. And so it's pointless for me to buy anything but singles because and this is how the Pokemon scene has changed trading cards is no one wants packs anymore. So what do? We get rid of regular packs and now we have draft packs. Or do you want to actually play our game? Okay, well, you can buy these cheap draft packs. Do you want to be a real Magic the Gathering collector and fan? You buy the collector boosters. Yeah, they're $50, but every single piece in there is shiny and it makes you feel good because you're collecting. You're doing your part to properly collect. And you have a higher chance of pulling these chase cards that you want. And so fundamentally, we've started. You're muted.
I want to add on real quick as you continue the foiled chase cards too of like these borderless cards, like the foil versions are also only in the collector's booster, which is kind of
Exactly.
crazy because this is a standard set and the price is higher than normal standard sets. Because normally collector boosters are $30. The collector booster, I think, is $80 for this. Correct me if I'm
just
wrong.
looked at it. It's
I will look it
70.
up.
It's 70.
70.
Okay, $70. I was close. When
It's
normally
all
they're 30,
getting out of
but
hand.
you know.
Yeah, exactly. And even $30. If you told me, somebody did tell me at the beginning of playing Magic that it was Jordan. And he was like, yeah, you buy one of those $10 packs. I'm like, $10? He's like, yeah, because it's this new set. And if you pull a Tarmogoyf, it's like $400. And I'm like, $400?
Must have been a Modern Masters pack.
Yeah,
Must
give
have
me
been a Modern
two.
Masters pack.
Give me two of them. And straight up, I was. But that's because even if I didn't pull the Tarmogoyf, there was good stuff in there that I could have still made money on. Now, you can't tell me that 9 out of 10 people lose every single time they buy an $80 collector's pack. Because there's 77 golden chocobos out there? Because you could be one of the lucky guys who pulls a golden chocobo out of a random pack at your local game store? There's no way. They are systematically building sets and using things like Final Fantasy and everybody's favorite IPs to trap people into spending way too much money on cards that they're not going to use. It's a collector thing. And that's where I think people don't have enough future sight to look at it and say, I could buy this on the secondary market after everybody has all of their fun opening all these packs because they're going to want to sell them. everybody gets too caught up in, I gotta pull it. Would it be so crazy? Would it be so hype? Hey chat, wouldn't it be hype if I pulled that? And I just I can't stand how money hungry the whole thing feels now. It doesn't feel, I think we talked about it last time, but Skaggs and I went to that Pokemon event and there was no old cards. There was no like collector aspect to it at all. It was zombies walking up and being like, do you have any of the new packs of the new set? And it's like, no, I'm totally sold out. And then they would leave and go to the next and ask if he had packs. And then somebody would roll up and be like, I'm looking for this specific Charizard. It's like, no, I already sold all those. And then they would just leave. And it wasn't like, hey, do you have anything cool? Where's the old stuff? Do you have any like badass graded cards? It was like, I'm here for Charizards and the newest packs, and maybe Japanese packs if you got them.
Yeah, like I bought a fucking Korean Groudon for like half the fucking price that it normally goes on the secondary market, and no, everybody's just like, do. I was like, fuck that. I want that Groudon.
Sometimes you find a good deal like that. I've never had the luck of going to a garage sale and finding like trading cards like that. Like I had a whole bunch of first edition Yu-Gi-Oh stuff that nowadays is worth money, but my dad sold all my trading cards back then in a garage sale. So like I've never had like that type of luck. But you mentioned like we're talking about these chase cards one last time. The black chocobo, which is Japanese, is in both packs, play boosters and collectors, and it's only in Japanese because that was. They paid tribute to artist for Final Fantasy. Sorry, I can't remember his name. They paid tribute to a really good specific artist, and so they surprised him because the Black Chocobo wasn't planned. But it's only in Japanese, that Black Chocobo. So that's kind of like another chase card that's not serialized. But I told Skaggs I'd keep us on track. We got 3 minutes. So we'll end the Final Fantasy thing because I want an opinion real quick. Because we got to have some video game knowledge on here too.
Okay.
So I don't know if you guys heard as we close the podcast. Talk more about Final Fantasy next time, I'm sure. But they have Gears of War Reloaded. For everybody that knows Xbox for years, so they got all these studios they have now. Xbox was Forza, Gears, Halo. Forza, Gears, Halo. We've had Forza Horizon on PlayStation. We've not had Forza Motorsport yet. Probably coming at some point. But Gears of War Reloaded, I believe, without Googling it, because we don't have a lot of time left, without Googling it, it is the Ultimate Edition with upgrades for obviously the newer console hardware. Coming to PS5. What do you guys think about one of the Holy Trinity, so to speak, coming to PS5? And what do you think that means for the quote-unquote untouchable Xbox franchise in the future?
I mean, I think we touched on this actually last podcast or the one before that, where eventually it's gonna be it's gonna have to be that nothing is specific to consoles anymore. We're not gonna have exclusives because, I mean, God of War was also that untouchable one. But it's on PC. I mean,
Yep.
It took a little bit to get there, but fuck, how long did it take Gears of War to get there? I mean, to go to something that wasn't Microsoft. Version,
so we'll see what happens with the new ones when they come out. E-Day. We'll see if that's day one on PS5, probably.
I'm excited to get because it's just the first one, better graphics and shit, right? I'm gonna play it.
From my knowledge.
I am going to play it because I remember playing Gears of War whenever I was younger on fucking 360, and my whole family was jam-packed into a bedroom. It was me, both my cousins, my stepdad, my uncle, my dad. We were all sitting there passing around the controller. We were doing 2-player co-op, and everybody's passing around controllers. There's a rotation going on somewhere. Like, whenever you die, you gotta pass it up. And, oh my god, Gears was so fun. And I just like the characters in there, like Dom and
I'm happy to get a whole new multiplayer revival experience. Like personally, if I had one console, I'd probably care more. But for many, many years, I've always had Xbox, PlayStation, Switch. I've not always had a PC because obviously I don't want to. I don't have to continue buying all these things. That's already expensive enough to buy consoles. I prefer to play on the couch. That's just my personal experience, which I mentioned when we talked about. But I'm interested to see a revival of a multiplayer, and we'll see what happens. Potentially with Halo in the future. I think the Master Chief Collection will go one day. What's your opinion, Q?
I think coming back to games like that, where you had your Gears and you had your Army of Two and all these other old couch co-op games, bringing them back and making people, I think everybody's too used to like massive multiplayer, the Fortnite, the everything else, where there's a lot of people, Call of Duty, there's a lot of people playing the game all at once, and I'm not worried about like working with or talking with anybody else necessarily in those games. I'm just like shit talking, or I'm in a
Yeah.
Discord with my friends who aren't playing with me or are playing with me, and we're having our own conversations. Those games are very much like you and I have to communicate what we're doing here. I didn't play Gears as much as I played Army of Two, and that I remember very specifically. It's like, hey, we have to start talking to each other. We're sitting right here on the couch, and you keep jacking this up. So you're muted.
Just interesting to see the trajectory for the future. Like I said, we've talked about it before in the podcast. PC is the ultimate place to be, where essentially everything but Nintendo. If Nintendo were to put their stuff everywhere, it'd probably be PC first. But Nintendo does what Nintendo always does, and they've been in their own lane for many, many years. So interested to see what the future goes about Halo, Forza Motorsport. I think Xbox is pretty past that line, and once they seen how much money they make off Call of Duty after the Activision Blizzard deal. So glad to hear your guys' thoughts on the subject. But 2 minutes past 11:15, sir. I got you there.
Oh man, you're muted.
You're muted, Skaggs.
Sorry, girlfriend came in here to remind me that it was getting close to that time. But all right, this has been the Thick Boy Hours with Dodgy Yeti, Chris Jones, aka C Unit, Q, aka Short Round, and we're out of here. Have a nice day. See you.